Smile Dog stories consisted of a classic horror setup and an amateur writing versus the house of a later whose supplies had a story for which he can borrow from rather than speak. However, the later lass locked herself up in her room crying and ranting about nightmares and fishing and fairies. Other problem, all of these centered around flopping death. She had been given that content the image Smile Dog JPEG, which is Smile Dog Dog. Other cases of this have dropped out. Viewing this image inconsistency and no copy of the exact image exists on the web through likeness of it do. The true image of Smile Dog DBJ is recognized due to the effects it has on the field that as they went up dead, attaching the fire that is spreading the word is the only way to save oneself from this mild dog that appears in one's dream, demanded to spread the word. Some say that the original legend began with image of the devil. I first met in the person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terrace, to see her for an interview. Mary had entered agreed since I was not newsman but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assessments. And if all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrated business, but at the last moment, Mary changed her mind and locked herself in a couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me for a half an hour. I sat with the terrorists as we camped outside the bedroom. I listened and taken notes while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. The things Mary said made later sense, but fit with the pattern I was accepting through. I could not see her. I could tell from her voice that she was crying, and more often than not, her objection to speaking with me centered around an excellent diatribe on her dreams, her nightmares. Terrence apologized prophecies when we ceased the exercise, and I did my best to take it in straight recall that I wasn't a reporter in search of story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find an other similar cave if I put my mind and resource to it. Mary E. was supposed a small Chicago-based British board system in 1992 when she was first encountered Smile.gbh, and her life changed forever. She and Terrace had been married for only 5 months. Mary was one of an estimate 400 people who saw the image when it was posted on hyperlink on BBS. Though she is the only one who has spoken openly about experience, the rest have remained anonymous or perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.gbh was first brought to my attention. My burgeoning and web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited affecting of what is sometimes referenced to as a Smile Dog. The being Smile.djpg is reputed to display what caught my interest, other than the objects and map element of the cyber legend, and my possibility towards such things was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it even exists other than other rumors, hoaxes. It is unique because through the entire phone centers on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Since the many photomented simulates the little the web group showing up the most fixes it on sites such as image boards, 4chan, particularly the LX force of paranormal subbed. It was suspect these are fakes because they do not have effect. The true smile.jpg is believed to have, namely, it started on templates, loop epistolate, and the cute exia. The purported direction and the fuel is one of the reasons the phantom like smile.jpg is regarded with such a disdain, since it is patiently so dependent on whom you ask. The listed to acknowledge smile.jpg explicitly might be just much out of fear as out of disbelief. Neither smile.jpg nor smile.com and mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia. Through the website featuring article on such other perhaps more scandalous shock site as hello.jpg or Two Girls One Cup. An attempt to create page appended to smile.jpg similarly delete any of Encyclopedia minutes that then encounter with smile.jpg or the stock of internet legends. Mary E's story is not unique. There are unfettered rumors of smile.jpg showing up in the early days of unsent, and even one personally tell that is in 2002 Hacker flooded the forums of humor and satellite websites starting off with deluge of smile dog or picture window and almost have the forums users at the epistec. It also was said that in the mid to late 90s that smile.jpg is circulated on Sense and as attachment of chain email with subject line smile, God love you. Yet despite the huge exposure these stunts will generate, there are very few people who are adamant to have an experience any of them, and no trace of the file or any link has ever discovered. Those who claim to have smile.jpg often weekly joke that they were far too busy to save copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, all alleged victims offer the same description of the photo. A dog-like creature usually described as appearing similar to Siberian Husky, how illuminated by the flash of the camera sights and dim room, the only background theater that is visible being a human hand extended from the darkness near the left side of the frame. The hand is empty but usually described as beginning. Of course, most attention is given to the dog or dog creature, as some victims were more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muscle of the beast is repeatedly split in a wide grin, revealing two rows of very white, very sharp, very human-looking teeth. This is, of course, no discussion given later after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victim who claimed to have seen the picture endlessly repeated in their minds eye doing the time they are in reality having a special like this. These threats are reported to continue interminable, often while the affecting sleep, resulting in very infected and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medicine through, and some says it is more effective than others. Mary E. assumed was not effective medication. That was why after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I sent out feelers to several folklore and urban legends, popular news group website, and mailing list, hoping to find the name of the supposed victim of Smile.jpg, who felt more interested in talking about his experience for it turned nothing happened. And at length I forgot completely about my pursuits since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy. Mary contacted me via email, however, near the beginning of March 2008 to gmail.com from mary@.net. Last summer's interview. Dear Mr. L, I am incredibly sorry about my behavior last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand that it was not fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to have acted out as I did. I realized that I could have handled the situation more discreetly. However, I hope you will forgive me. At the time I was afraid. You see, for 15 years I have been haunted by Smile.jpg. Smile Dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. There's an invariable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that make them completely unlike any real dreams I have ever had. I do not move and do not speak. I look ahead, and then all the thing ahead of me is the scene from horrible picture. I see the beacon hand, and I see Smile Dog. It's talk to me. It's not a dog, of course. Though I am not quite sure what really is. It's telling me it will leave me alone. If all I do is ask, all I must do it just says it spreads the word. That is how it phrased a demand, and I know exactly what it meant. It wants me to show it to someone else, and I could. This week after I innocent, I received the mail mailer envelope with no return address. Inside was the 3.5-inch floppy disk without having checked. I knew personally what was on it. I thought for a long time about my opinion. I could show it to a stranger or a coworker. I could even show it to a terrorist. As much as the idea disgusted me. And what would happen then? Well, if Smile Dog kept their words, I could sleep, yet if it lied, what would I do? And who was to say solemn words would not come for me? If I did as the creature asked, so I did nothing for 15 years. Through dedicated hidden amongst my things. Every night for 15 years, Smile Dog has come to me in my sleep. And demented that I spread the word for 15 years. I have stood strong through there have been hard times. Many of my fellow victims on the BBS board where I first encountered Smile.jpg stopped posting and heard some of them committed suicide. Although remain completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web, they are ones I worried about the most. I'm sincerely I hope you will forgive me, Mr. L, but last summer when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near the breaking point. I decided was going to give you the floppy disk. I did not care if Smiley Dog was lying or not. I wanted to end you with stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel so when you took the diskette apart of your research and sealed your fate. Before you arrived, realizing what I was doing was plotting to ruin your life, I could not stand the thought, and in fact, and still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will disgust you will from further information of smile.gpage. You may in time encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, then really more desperate, someone who will not hesitate to follow Smile your dog's order. Stop while you still whole. Sincerely, Mary E. Terrence contacted me later that month with the news that his wife had killed herself. While cleaning up the first things, she's left behind closing email accounts and the like. He happened open the above message. He was mentionable. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He's found the desk. He refilled and burnt it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of black and plastic. The part that most disturbed him, however, was the diskette had hissed or melted like some sort of animal, he said. I will admit that was later uncertain about how to respond to this. At first I thought perhaps it was a joke with a couple beatly playing with stadium in order to get a rise out of me. A quick check of service jargon or newspaper or online update, however, propagated that Mary E. was indeed dead. There was of course no mention of suicide in the article. I decided that for the time at least I would not further pursue the subject of smile.jpg, especially since I had final coming up at the end of Mary. But the world has odd ways of testing us. Almost a few years after I returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E., I received another email to gmail@.com from ursula@.com. Subject smile, hello. I found your email address through a mailing list. Your profile said you are interested in Smile Dog. I have saw it. Not as bad as everyone say. I have sent it to you. Just spreading the word. The final line chilled me to the bone. According to my email, there was one file attachment called National Smile.gbh. I could constantly download it. For some time it was mostly likely fake, an image, and even when it wasn't, I was never wholly the consulate of smile.jpg and personal powers. Mary's E's account has shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced. Anyway, after all, how could a simple image do what smile.jpg was actually accomplish it? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with only the power of the eye? And if such things was painful as sport, then why did the legend exist at all? If I downloaded the image, if I looked at, and if Mary turned out to be correct, if Smile Dog came to me in my dream, the minute I spread the word, what would I do? Would I live my life as Mary, or had fight against the urge to give and until I died, or would I simply spread words eagerly to be put to rest? And if I choose the latter route, how could I do it? Whom would I burden in return? If I went through with my inclination to write a short article about Smile.d's page, I decided I could attach it as evidence, and anyone who read the article, anyone who took interest in would be infected, and even assuming the Smile.d page attached to the email was genuine, would I be capitally enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes, I could.